I want to talk about the human nervous system is one of the most understudied things on the planet, but I want to talk about Neroload uh, and trauma memory recovery. And how I guess if you're watching this and you have trauma memory recovery, it's not your fault to some extent, especially if you have heavy metal poisoning. Um, I don't know how to exactly frame this. The only way I can think of framing this is in order to get electrical currents along long distances, you need more electricity to get it along that distance. The further something away from you is, the more power you need to get that current out there to that thing. Uh, if you do not have capacitors or transformers to store the power and then later send it accordingly to people's houses and such. Um, that is why back in the day they used to build massive coal refineries to just keep boosting the power up so that it could go, so they could run longer and longer cables. Uh, this is a Bobby theory, and I'm gonna be frank with this. I'm probably right on the head with this. Um, these dickheads poisoned me not just with tetralead, but with cadmium and aluminum and probably any other fucking heavy metal they could probably get their filthy hands on. Because they're bastards. When they find somebody that's superior to them, they have to destroy them so they can be superior. They're not superior, they're losers that can't deal with the reality that they're losers. And they live in an objective reality where they're superior, when in the truth, they're fucking losers. That is why they have to cheat at everything, because it is in their blood to lose at everything. They were born from a loser that learned he could rape kids and take control of them. He learned he could poison people with heavy metals and rape them and assault them and just keep hurting them and then telling them the suffering's good for them. It's God refining you. That's why you need to keep letting me beat you. And then he abused the sunk cost fallacy. You're already suffered this much. Why stop now? Why not keep suffering? Because you're not here to suffer, dumbass. But these people in this church are too stupid to figure that out, and you're not going to explain it to them because their brains aren't big enough to understand it. The Neroload, Bob's Neroload theory. In psychology, when somebody is traumatized severely, there is this thing where they talk about repressed memories, but a lot of times there's not. There's a theory that the repressed memories aren't a thing. It's not actually memory repression. It is your nervous system literally can't handle the stress from the psychological event. Earlier in these videos, when I kept saying I can't handle it, I was referring to my nervous system, informing me it cannot handle it. And I want to talk about, when I was growing up, I was part of the student council. I had to regularly speak in front of large groups. So, and I got really inoculated to speaking in front of large groups early. I actually used to get into a lot of fights. And you may not know this, but getting into fights in school is a form of standing up for yourself. And then I was poisoned with heavy metals, and my nervous system suddenly couldn't handle the Neroload of doing these things anymore. And I would argue that indirectly rewired my entire brain to I cannot handle it. And this is the kind of bastards you're dealing with, by the way. If you come off as a brave person, they make you a coward by poisoning you, and then go, he's a coward, that's how that is. Once again, if you did it to them, there would be a fucking problem. And a lot of the guys that watch this, they get really mad when I go, if I did it to you, there would be a problem. It is because in their own church, there is a philosophy, do unto others as they do to you. Let me poison you with cadmium. You're not gonna, because you don't believe your own bullshit. You don't follow your own rules. This is how you know you're all liars. So the thing I'm getting at is I believe the nervous system can actually only handle so much, and this is where PTSD comes from. PTSD, or shell shock syndrome, comes about because the human nervous system is pushed so far it literally stops functioning. The original PTSD was called shell shock, where people just shook uncontrollably nonstop. There was a guy that was saying that that form of PTSD is fake. It doesn't exist anymore. I'm here to tell you, I believe it did exist. I believe it was 1,000,000% real. And I think my theory can be proven, for the people that had the shudders, which were just war veterans that couldn't stop shaking. In the 40s, there was a high exposure of heavy metals. And anything from lead to cadmium to every heavy metal known to man. I believe even chromium. And I believe that shortened the amount the human nervous system could handle. My nervous system, I used to be referred to as somebody that had nerves of steel. And that was stolen from me, because a bunch of dumb bastards in Utah came across me, saw a superior being, and couldn't handle the real fact that they're inferior. And this is what happens when you can't deal with, when you're too weak to deal with reality. And every one of their church leaders is too weak to deal with reality. If you had to force them to deal with reality, they would shoot themselves in the head, because they can't handle reality. And even right now they're going, oh, he's talking about himself. No, I'm talking about you people. Because they suffer from the Dunning-Kruger effect. It means they're too stupid to understand anything. But, it's one of the things that has been bothering me for a while now, is exactly how much the Neroload thing operates, and exactly, how it functions. Because my theory is as heavy metals collect in your body, they create, I guess, nodes or extended neurological wiring, or they interfere with the electrical connections in the human body. And because you're adding heavy metals, you're adding wiring. And as you add wiring, the power, the electricity your body naturally creates, cannot stretch far enough to fuel all those power lines. This results in a shorter ability to handle extreme anxieties and neural consequences. And I'm going to briefly talk about my mother in this, because my sister used to go on and on about my mother. When we were abused, my sister would try to hound my mom about ignoring us being abused, because she was right there. She watched us get hit, she watched us get molested, and she didn't do anything. My sister is incapable of understanding how the neural system works, because if you ask my mom about this, that never happened. She doesn't remember. And she doesn't remember because her nervous system can't handle the Neroload. My mom is a lead brain. She grew up in the 60s around lead. Okay? That is why these people can't deal with these things, and that's why they have to find other truths. Lies. They're called lies, not other truths. They're called lies. To deal with reality, because reality is that scary for them. Yeah, so you will never get the truth out of my mother about anything. But my point about this is her neural system couldn't handle those memories. And when I was in Ackworth, I remember stupid people continuously coming to me when what I needed was fucking chelation therapy, and everybody wanted me to fix their problems, but they didn't give a fuck about me. And this is how a 2-year-old behaves. And if you are guilty of this in Ackworth, if you were stupid enough to call me, and I'm talking top guys in government, senators, FBI agents, people that we think are smart, were coming to me asking for help, and I needed help. You stupid fuck. As you can tell, I have some anger issues about this. I don't know how so many people with power can be that stupid. I really don't. But even Blondie's guilty of this, because even he was asking me for help, while simultaneously keeping me at a disadvantage, because he was scared of the consequences of his actions, because he's a coward. It's in his blood to be a coward. If you were to tell him to come down to my house unarmed and by himself, and go, hey Bobby, I want to talk about what happened, he wouldn't do it, because he's a coward. He's the biggest pussy you know. Go ahead, tell him to do it. The other thing I wanted to talk about was there were these guys that died recently. There was that kid that stabbed his parents to death, that his father wrote The Princess Bride. I'm not 100% on this because Stu, who hypnotized me to see him as the as Blondie, came into Papa John's, and once again, this is that stupid shit where I have two separate memories and one of them's obviously fake and doesn't make any fucking sense. Courtesy of Stu. Jesus Christ. The one actor from It, I distinctly remember coming into Papa John's and actually sitting in the office at Papa John's and talking to me. He told me some kind of story. I don't remember the story. The story gave me confidence, though. And we had a back and forth, and he explained to me his wife had wrote this story. Or, like, his wife didn't write the story. You see, this is the thing. The memory doesn't make sense. And I'm not going to waste time with it because I'm no longer wasting time meditating and finding out old memories because I believe that I could remember a million things. Fuck. I could remember every fucking secret, but it wouldn't do me a damn lick of good. It really wouldn't. Anyways, so that guy, I think, made some kind of stupid deal with this church, and I told all these people, don't make a deal with these people. They're bastards. Blondie is a bastard, okay? Nothing more. And if anybody in this church says otherwise, invite them over and then just start feeding them cadmium until they change their minds, because that's how this church would handle it. They would just start poisoning you with heavy metals until you agreed with them. Just start poisoning them with heavy metals until they agree with you. And try it on their kids and their wife while you're at it. And then try raping them, because that's how you solve problems, according to this church. And whenever they say anything, go do unto others as they do to you. You do this to other people, it is okay for me to do it to you. Shut up and you're not allowed to complain. I don't know what that guy told me that gave me confidence, but I remember it being very brief, because I was zombified, not too long after that, hypnotized by Stu again. I don't know if that's fair to that guy, because I'm pretty sure if that guy made a deal with the church, and this isn't some kind of, thought error of mine, and it was actually that guy from It, and what if his deal was he was supposed to tell me this story that was supposed to make me courageous, and then Stu erased that from my mind? Can somebody hold Stu accountable for his fucking actions? Cut off his hands or something. I don't know. And that other guy, I remember talking to some dude that was telling me he was gonna murder the guy that wrote Princess Bride. I don't remember what his deal was, but he was trying to explain to me that his girlfriend was taken by the church and it was all my fault. And just like weak people do, sit around blaming other people for everything. That's great. Good job being useless. Hey, if you could help me, we wouldn't be in this situation. The problem is everybody just did the stupid thing because they're dumbasses. And they can't handle the reality that they're fucking stupid. Yeah. So Yeah, I believe the actor from It, for whatever reason. I don't know that guy. At least I don't think I know that guy. I met a lot of people when I was out there in the desert. Maybe I met that guy. I doubt it, though. I distinctly remember talking to Ryan Gosselin about the Barbie movie and him explaining to me he's going to go in there and ruin it. And I guess that's how he ruined it, was he stole Margot Robbie's nomination. But I'm not even going to touch that, dude. I think the Barbie movie was a great movie, so fight me if you want. Yeah. That guy told me a story that made me confident, and then for whatever reason Stu erased it from my mind. And then with a guy I believe was Blondie, for whatever reason coached me to say that guy's wife said it, and then I spoke to that guy and I was supposed to remember. What he did was make it seem like I remembered what this guy had told me using his hypnosis bullshit. He made it seem like I knew what I was talking about when I didn't know what I was talking about. And it was all that sideways talk, fucking coercive language, divisive language bullshit with these people. It's all fucking smoke and mirrors. Once again, if speaking to these people, you should just repeat to them again, speak plainly. Speak plainly or I'm gonna kill you. Speak plainly or you're gonna die. And I guarantee you they would rather be dead than just speak plainly, because they know they're up to no good. It was that kind of shit. I didn't understand what was going on, but I was talking to a guy, and then the dude was like, basically, can you repeat the story I told you? And I couldn't do it, but then they were trying to coerce me into saying parts of the story that I didn't remember completely, so I just said what they wanted me to say. Dude, this shit got stupid. If that guy made a deal with the church, they fucked that guy over and they knifed that man in the back, okay? That was not a deal. It is not a deal to be like, I'm going to go tell Bobby this story that's going to make him confident and it's going to make him want to help people again. And then you guys go, we're going to delete it out of his mind with our bullshit hypnosis. But the deal is Bobby does this thing and that guy endorsed him and he's supposed to get something out of his deal. But also we're going to erase what that guy, like, What? I don't remember the story. Weirdly, I keep thinking it may have had something to do with another religion, but I don't know. I really don't. In between there, I remember, there were other people. I don't know how many people. A lot of people don't watch my videos anymore, and I think it's because that white van left. But if you are ever dealing with these people, never make a deal with them. They are bastards, and they are going to rig and cheat everything. If you want your wife back, and you're like, I'll make a deal with you, I will give you $1 million for my wife, they'll give you your wife back, but she won't have a goddamn brain. Okay? That is how they work. They're bastards. They can't be honest people or do the right thing, because doing the right thing makes them sick. It makes them physically ill because it's not suffering, and suffering is all they know because their church makes them miserable, and then the sunk cost fallacy comes in. They go, I have already suffered so much, how could it be for nothing? It can be for nothing because you're a dumbass that believed a dumbass, and you drank lead to be a dumbass, and then because you're a lead brain, you kept making dumbass mistakes because you're a dumbass. That's why. Thank you.